Hi, Kim Monroe. It's my video for teaching you multiplication on the abacus. There are a few things you need to know before you use the abacus for multiplication. Your students or you must know your multiplication facts. You don't just start with multiplying on the abacus. It takes a little bit to learn. They also need to know some terms. The multiplicand is the number which is multiplied. The multiplier is the number by which you are multiplying. The factors, that's just another name for the multiplicand and the multiplier. And the product, of course, is the answer that you get by multiplying the multiplicand and multiplier. Now, on the abacus, you cannot do like if you were just doing it on paper, you couldn't write your answers one on top of the other. But the main difference in multiplying is you're going to put your multiplicand on the far left. You're going to put your multiplier on the right, and the most important part is your product, your answer, is going to end up on the far right. So there are a few rules. The multiplying took me a little bit to get used to. It's a little bit more difficult than the addition and subtraction. So I've got my coworker with me, Ms. Foster, and I'm going to show you that. So we will bend the camera down or turn the computer down, and you'll just see what we're doing while we're working on the abacus. So I'm just going to move the camera, and you can see our abacus. Okay, I'm going to start with something fairly simple. I'm going to start with 3 times 21. Now, Ms. Foster, because our multiplicand is 3, we're going to do this on the far left. We didn't do this with addition and subtraction. So this part's just a little bit different. So we're going to always start with our multiplicand on the left. So go over to the far left and count to 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to show you we did it on the far left, and she did the same thing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, our multiplier is 21. But we don't just start willy-nilly just on the end like we would normally do. We're going to, there are some rules in multiplication. We have to add the number of, we have to add the numbers in our problem. There's a 3, a 2, and a 1, so that's 3 numbers. We're going to add 1 to it, so that means we will go over to the far right and we'll count to the 4th column. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where we will start putting our multiplier. Now our multiplier is 21, so let's count to 21. 21. Okay, so that is our, we've got our multiplicand and we've got our multiplier. Now, first we're going to multiply 3 times 1. So what is 3 times 1? 3. We know that's 3. So we're going to count, we're going to go over to the next 2 columns immediately to the right of the multiplier. So we're going to start right here on this column. Now I like to use my index finger just to sort of hold my place so I don't get lost. So you tell me 3 times 1 was? 3. Okay, so we're going to count to 3. 1. We're going to do that in the ones column.
Oh,
so
sorry.
1, 2, 3.
Tried to jump ahead of you.
I did too. And that's my problem. I think when I multiply is I try to skip some steps. And it's very important when using the abacus that you don't skip the steps. Now we've already used the 1 of the multiplier, so we need to clear that. Okay. Now we are going to next we're going to do 3, and then the rest of our multiplier 2. So we're going to say 3 times 2 is what? 6. Okay. Now our answer is 6, but we have in multiplication you have placeholders, and our placeholder is going to be a 0 in that first column immediately to the right of the 2. So we're not going to put anything there. Okay. So we're going to go over and we're going to put our 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I used my multiplier of 2, so I'm going to clear that. And I have an answer of 63, which is what 3 times 21 is. So here's my answer, 63. Okay, do you understand how I got that?
I do. Okay, that makes sense.
Now, before
the placeholder is confusing.
The placeholder is a little confusing, and we forget about that when we're doing when you have a single digit, you're going to have a placeholder of 0, and you have to account for that in when you're using the abacus. Okay, now on our paper, you just kind of leave a blank space. You don't put a 0. Sometimes you do, but not normally. All right, so now we're going